Hi, my name is Raphael from LifeGrowthDesigns. So I'm here to share with you today the process, the More Prosperous Coach process that you can take up right away, whether you've got a lot of training in any coaching modality or you just love being there and listening to people. One way or the other, you can turn that into a full-time business. You can turn that into the way that you create your lifestyle, your dream lifestyle. Creating change in people's lives, the more value, the more positive change I can create in people's lives means the more income I create. The more value, the more positive change I can create in people's lives means the more income I create. 2 months in Thailand, spending time with my family, right? That's my dream lifestyle. I don't know what it is that you have for a dream lifestyle. If you haven't gotten it clear, please do that now. I'll show you a picture of the process in its steps, and then there's a free training to continue step by step to look at the different pieces of this process. But I want to give you a full overview in as short a time as I can to invite you into the possibility that whatever you're doing now, if you're an influencer, for example, and have lots of followers, how you can turn that very quickly into a healthy income. Or if you don't want to influence at all, if you don't want to write a book, if you don't want to write on Facebook at all, that you can create a coaching, a successful, and I mean successful not just monetarily, I mean successful in that you're changing people's lives without any social platforms. So please take a break from all of the advertisings that are showing you how to make 6 figures in 30 days, how to, YouTube advertise, etc., and practice this. This will make you a better coach. This will make you a better coach. From this we can expand, and I'll share a lot about that throughout the process. So if your business is a monster, in which you feed in order to produce manure. This is a great metaphor from Michael Neal. That it actually poops money is what you're looking for. If your business is that, then it's a very different strategy. And I fall into that all the time, trying to create value, right? Quote unquote value, like a video that I'm trying to impress people, trying to draw them in so I can get clients, then it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. And there are people out there doing it, but it's not the kind of business I want to create. I've developed this model for myself more and more. People pay for proximity. People pay for proximity. I have a video on the value ladder, right? Another way of the value ladder, right, is moving up in how much things cost, but really you're moving closer and closer to my circle, right? And people pay for proximity. I mean, my family is here, right? They're not paying for proximity. Well, they have to live with me. And then I have my close friends and whatnot. These people do not pay me, but they do. They're friends, right? There's a connection, a really close connection that is an exchange. And then here, I have my clients. So I want to keep it warm. But these are my clients, right? And when I'm looking about how to better my business, I start here, right? Am I taking care of myself? Am I taking care of my family? That's what I'm up to here, right? And already we're on the first part of the More Prosperous Coach, the first part of the More Prosperous Coach model, right? So people are paying, they're going to pay for proximity. These are the people I work with one-on-one, right? These are the people that I might have in a group coaching. And there's a big difference here. There's a big difference. I can serve this person. I can help them so much more achieve their dreams than here. I've seen it with people who are just in group coaching and not in my one-on-one. Because it's just a world apart. And then there are people who are reading a book that you wrote, or a podcast, or YouTube videos. Here's your advertising, maybe. Anyway, you're pushing. Now you could be putting this out to draw people in, and that'll be a very different thing than from your heart, right? From what you're creating, the lifestyle you're creating, the love that you're creating, that you're loving all over these people. that when you're building this up and you're making this rich, and then you push that into the world, right? I just talked with a wonderful colleague who said, I created the podcast for me. Well, yes, and he could have been in the dark talking to himself. That's not why he created the podcast. He wanted to share his deepest, most intimate self, right? The things that were most important with him to the world out here, right? And to the people that it resonates with, right? And you know, it hits this person way out there on the other side of the world, right? And they're like, oh, I like this man. He, you know, this is the message I love. And suddenly that person's here, right? And it's not that we want to draw them into our monster. I suppose I could make a monster funnel, a funnel monster, right? That is, you know, we're going to draw them in so they poop money, right? That's to have an enticing message, to have a thing that pushes people's buttons, right? We use their fear points, right? The things that they're afraid of, and we use the things that, you know, they absolutely have to stop everything to hear because, you know, in 30 days they're going to get 6 figures, and so on and so forth. Here, it's about sharing our intimate selves. We can be completely vulnerable about that. And the great part about it is, if you're not somebody who wants to make a podcast or write a book, you know, you can just reach out to people and have conversations with them, old school, right? And care about them and be interested in them. And then that is so healing in itself. And that's bringing people shortly, really close here. You have the conversation. So, you know, you have the connection, you have the invite, and you have the coaching conversation. So when you connect with them, right, you have a quick touch, a heart moment, right? And then there's something that they open up something, right? They say, oh, you know, I'm really struggling right now with this thing, or, you know, they have a moment of vulnerability. They let you into their heart space, and that's where, with all intentions of not creating a business from their vulnerability, because that's just ugly. With all intentions to help them as much as possible, right? The professional coach invites them to a conversation. I might be able to help you with that. That's what I do for a living. And this is a beautiful thing because you are inviting them to your coaching magic with no other intention as to help them as much as you possibly can with the tools that you've learned, with the love that you can show with them, because that's more powerful than any of the tools, that you will invite them. And this really separates somebody who's into self-development from the coach. The coach invites them to a coaching conversation. And never coaches without permission. You know, never starts saying, oh, I know how to fix that for you, or oh, you're broken, let me fix that. No, this is really about, hey, I've got this thing I do and I believe I can help you with what it is you're sharing with me. And so that heart touch, that vulnerability that person shows to say, hey, I've got a problem here. You can meet that with like, oh, you know, if you trust me enough to show me more, I can hold that space for you, and that's a beautiful thing. So if you get salesy right away here in the invite, like, oh, there's my opportunity to pull them in, you're going to close that heart space up again. It's a really the most human thing. It's not a business building thing. The most human thing to invite them to coaching. Right? So you could have a 2-hour connection and you're not trying to improve their lives. You might be asking questions. Those questions are not with the intention of transforming their lives, right? Here, the intentions are to really satisfy your curiosity of this person, like to know, not the facade of the person, not the mask they're showing you, but to get to know that person as deep as you can in the most authentic self they can show you. And this, with the invite, your permission to coach them, will bring that into, okay, now I'm going to ask questions because you've given me permission to lead you into a conversation that will induce change in your life. right? And it's really important to have this invitation here. And we'll talk about ways to invite, and ways, even when they've said yes, ways to make sure that you have full permission to do what it is you will in the coaching conversation. So this connection is here, right? It goes in. The invite is really like, oh wow, thank you so much for showing me your vulnerability and embracing that, and they get closer to you, and then you have a coaching conversation, right? They get closer still to that heart space, and in that conversation you give them an environment of trust so they can open up. I've had people tell me all of their problems. This happened recently, and I had wished that they would just open up, right? They told me everything that was going wrong in their lives, but there wasn't yet the space, and I'll meet with her again to find this space where she can open her heart, and that's holding a lot of space. It's holding space, holding space. I think it's important that these steps that I'm giving you are the most important. So now you've had that conversation, and that coaching conversation is your magic. You're going to, like a blitz of lightning, you're going to change the direction of their lives. They're going to change the directions of their lives with your with your leading, right? And that's why you get the permission. They say, hey, I do want to change my life. And then you do something with them, and we'll talk about different modalities, and that you don't need any of those modalities, or you can have lots of them. But you're going to do your magic and change something in their lives. And that can stand alone. Any of these things can stand alone. You can have this connection without the intention of going on this ladder deeper, right? Sucking them into the funnel. You can invite them just to say, hey, I'm another human being who cares. I would love to help you. That alone is value. And this is, as we go deeper in this, the more and more value there is. And it can stand alone, right? Really give them a chance to not want, to not want your coaching, to not want a change right now. That is healing in itself. So now you've created this magic in their lives. And if you can really create, if you both feel like, wow, there's been a change here. This is a relationship that can make a lot more change. It's important to have that first, because otherwise you can invite them again, right? But if you felt that kind of change has been created, if that's possible between these two hearts, these two people, this proximity, then you can invite them into a coaching relationship over a longer period of time. And that will create money for your business. The reason why that creates money for your business is not because they're buying your time or they're buying your skills. The reason it creates money for your business is they're going to commit to their dream. So if you haven't talked about the coaching conversation, what their wildest, biggest mountain dream is, then you'll do that. And from there, you will create the most serving coaching relationship you can with them, the best scenario for them, that you can continue that journey towards their dream with. I do it over 3, 6, or 12 months. It could be we're building a business together. It could be you're creating a better relationship with your wife or your husband. It could be several of those things, many of those things. And that's the thing we're going to work on together over this time, and it will cost this amount of money. The money is their buy-in. Their money is their leverage, their skin in the game to do what it is that they've set out to do, because they're the ones that are going to do it. You're not going to guarantee results. It's through their will, it's through their wanting, it's their desire, it's their passion to create this thing that they'll do it. And with you, my policy is, we'll feel here that I can give them a 10-time value, a 10x value for whatever it is they're going to give me. The value of the coaching, right? So if that they were going to, create a business online anyway, it would look like this. They will create that business. It'll take them time. They'll do some online trainings, et cetera, et cetera. But working with me will create the business, right? When I got my first coach to start my coaching business, I had already been trying to build the business in coaching a lot of people. I coached 50 people, over 50 people. I hadn't earned a dime. My first week working with that person, I broke 5 figures. So that's the kind of results, that's the ideal kind of results you'd want to feel. But also, you know, with a relationship, right? I know you can't put a value on that, but that they might improve the relationship through reading books and going to seminars, etc., etc. But the one-on-one should be, you know, so powerful that it becomes a no-brainer that they're going to work with you over the next 3 or 6 or 12 months, and they're going to pay this amount because they can view into their future that you've created with them. They can see that with this kind of perspective that you give them, that it's possible. That's what you want to create, the perspective that they see how possible it is, and then they'll commit to going to that mountaintop. They'll commit to that place that they see. And it's through that commitment that we'll work on the next step and the next step and the next step to get there. So this is a business of dreams, to create dreams with people or projects to get to their dreams. But this is the proposal. And it's this, that every one of these steps is the goal, the thing that you're after is the most service possible, how to help them in every way. So if they want coaching with you, if they see that coaching is so powerful, then you help them get it through the proposal. And you always put what they need first. Now, you don't coach for free. You wouldn't be able to be a coach, right? So you know how low you can go, and guess what? We'll talk about how going too low will not serve them in getting their dreams. So really, the focus is always to serve them. So we can forget about this money-pooping monster and focus on serving them. And what happens is you're giving that value, and we can practice this. You don't need any coaching training to practice this, and you can practice this, and somebody will say yes at some point. They'll say no, they'll say no, they'll say no, and somebody will say yes. And you're putting their needs first, then over here in the bank account, money will happen. And it's not something you worry about here. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I know, thank you for staying with me so long. Hit subscribe, hit like, watch video after video, and then get in touch with me if you want more of this. And for me, the most important thing is the most fulfillment, right? The most fulfillment that you can create in your life. So thank you, and I'll see you soon.